Pet therapy, dog walking and increased health, pet attachment and decreased loneliness, pet ownership and decreased cardiovascular disease, the healing power of pets for the elderly. These are just some of the articles on the benefits of pets for seniors. But what happens when your mom or dad can no longer take care of their pet? What if you're worrying about them even being able to take care of themselves? How many times have you cringed watching your mom almost trip over her little dog? And what happens when you're not there? What to do with that beloved cat or dog can be a brutal conversation. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and this week we're looking at one family's move to senior living and the pets that couldn't go. Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest. You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. There are countless articles and studies about the benefits of pet ownership at any age. Do you have a dog or cat at home? Or two or five? What's it like? Do they keep you active? Do you talk to them like I do, my bossy cat? Now imagine waking up one day and they're gone. For many seniors, there comes a time when they just can't continue caring for their pets. And if you have pets or have had pets, you probably remember what it's like to say goodbye. So many families struggle with the conversation about mom or dad needing assistance, whether that's assistance around the house or with care. You see the need, and trust me, your mom or dad see it too, but actually facing it, actually saying out loud that you're worried about them can be really hard. But have you thought about this conversation? The one about their best friend who keeps them company, keeps them active. There are so many reasons that pets are good for seniors. And now you want to talk about taking their best friend away? I know, a little stressful. I worked with a family whose parents had three dogs and several cats. When I visited their home, it was very painfully clear. And I think you probably can imagine what I'm talking about, that they just couldn't take care of their pets. Their family of pets was also one of the reasons they resisted moving to a senior living community. They just couldn't imagine leaving their furry friends. Unfortunately, it had become increasingly clear that they were also struggling to take care of themselves. A neighbor had actually called Adult Protective Services because they were worried about the situation. And of course, their kids were worried too, but they lived out of state. And it's a little bit harder to get a clear picture of exactly what's going on when you can't be there every day. And maybe this is your situation too. It's even harder. But let's get back to all these benefits. It seems like a pet would be a great idea. Last week, we talked about seniors feeling a loss of independence when they move to a senior living community. A pet could be a great way to help them feel more independent. It can definitely help with the transition and not feeling so alone. But while there are amazing benefits to owning a pet, they can also present some problems. So, here are some questions to ask yourself if you're wondering if it's time to have this conversation. Are your parents experiencing physical limitations like bending over that would prevent them from chores like cleaning out the litter box or walking the dog? Does your mom have any respiratory conditions that are made worse by pet dander or fur? Are you worried about those potential falls? How does pet care affect your parents' financial situation? It can get expensive. Is your dad's pet actually making him less likely to socialize with others? Who will take care of the pet if your mom or dad becomes sick or end up in the hospital? Is it you, or do you have to hire someone? My clients determined it was time to have this difficult conversation. And obviously, APS helped in that decision. It also helped by giving them an opening with their parents. They were out of state and they couldn't provide that pet care for their parents. They also couldn't take those pets themselves, and there were no family members or friends that were able to. So they ended up having to rehome all of the pets. This was a devastating decision, but their parents had to move to assisted living. Many states offer no kill shelters or breed specific rehoming services, and we'll put a link in show notes to some of these services. Most senior living communities do allow pets, but they usually only allow one, and there are usually weight and breed restrictions. Did you know that many in home care companies and senior living communities can add pet care to the care plan? Of course, there are also independent services such as Rover that can help your aging parents continue to care for their best friend, whether in their home or in a community. Even though this couple could have kept one pet at the senior living community they moved to, they chose not to. When faced with the reality of giving up their pets and having to choose just one, they chose not to choose. If this ends up being your situation, there are a few things that you can do to make it a little bit easier. Create a photo album, something that they can share with new friends that they make at a senior living community. And many senior living communities also provide pet therapy. So, encouraging your parents to participate in that pet therapy. Usually, it's once a week if the community does have it. And if the community doesn't have it, it might be something they would consider adding. And then, of course, there will be other residents that have pets. And I'm guessing that your parents will make fast friends with those folks. In the end, my clients' parents, although sad to see their pets go, also felt relief. Taking care of those pets had actually become a burden. Now, no one wants to admit that their pets are a burden. And of course, they were sad, but they were also relieved and happy they were going to new homes. They understood that they were no longer able to care for them. No matter your situation, what to do with your mom or dad's cat or dog can be a tough conversation. But hopefully, this episode helps make it a little more doable. Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.